Good morning. Thank you for coming in today. I'm Mark, the head of the R&D department here at AgroGreen Solutions. Welcome to our interview.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and about this opportunity.
Excellent. We are currently looking for a passionate product development specialist for our crop protection division. To start off, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background in agriculture?
Absolutely. My name is Lynn. I hold a master's degree in agronomy with a focus on plant protection. Over the past 4 years, I have worked as an R&D executive, where my main responsibility was developing and testing new biopesticides and herbicides. I've spent a lot of time both in the laboratory formulating products and on the field conducting bioefficacy trials.
That sounds very impressive, Lynn. Having a balance of lab and field experience is crucial for this role. What drew you specifically to crop protection product development?
I've always wanted to create solutions that help farmers improve crop yields while minimizing environmental impact. Product development allows me to bridge the gap between scientific research and actual field application.
That's a great perspective, and it aligns closely with our company's mission. Now, let's dive deeper into some of your specific technical experiences. Let's start with formulation technology. The market is shifting away from traditional EC formulations due to environmental concerns, moving towards safer types like SC or WG. Have you worked on transitioning or developing these newer formulations?
Yes, definitely. In my previous role, we worked on transitioning a popular insecticide from an EC to an SC formulation. The main challenge was maintaining active ingredient stability and preventing sedimentation during storage. We had to test various surfactants and dispersing agents to achieve the right viscosity and particle size. It took us about 6 months of trial and error in the lab, but we eventually created a stable SC formulation that showed excellent crop safety and comparable efficacy to the old EC version.
That's a common but difficult challenge. Stability is always a major concern for SCs. How did you validate the product's performance once the formulation was stable in the lab?
Once lab stability was confirmed, we moved to bioefficacy trials. We conducted small-scale field trials in different agroecological zones to see how the product performed under varying weather conditions and pest pressures. For instance, we tested the formulation on rice blast and brown plant hopper. I was responsible for designing the trial protocols, coordinating with local farmers, and evaluating parameters like pest mortality and crop phytotoxicity.
Field conditions are always unpredictable compared to controlled lab environments. What is your approach when a trial doesn't deliver the expected efficacy?
When that happens, the first step is to investigate the variables. Was the application timing correct? Did the weather, like unexpected rain, wash away the active ingredient? I also check the water quality used for spraying, as pH can affect product stability. In one trial, we noticed lower efficacy because the local water was highly alkaline, which degraded the active ingredient. We solved this by recommending a buffer to adjust the pH, which restored the product's performance. It taught me that product development isn't just about the chemical itself, but also about educating the end user on proper application.
Excellent point. Understanding the practical field conditions is just as important as the science behind the product. Now, let's talk about the regulatory side. In our industry, getting a product registered can be a long and complicated process. How much experience do you have with agricultural registration regulations?
Quite a bit. I've worked closely with our regulatory affairs team to prepare technical dossiers for product registration. This involves compiling toxicological data, environmental fate studies, and the bioefficacy trial reports we talked about. I'm familiar with the local registration standards and guidelines, especially the requirements of the Ministry of Agriculture. I know how important it is to ensure all data is accurate and compliant to avoid costly delays in getting the product to market.
Absolutely, registration delays can cost us a whole growing season. Once a product is registered and ready for launch, how do you assist the marketing and sales teams in introducing it to the market?
Product development doesn't end when the product is approved. I believe the developer plays a key role in the launch phase. I usually translate technical data into practical, easy-to-understand materials for our sales reps and distributors. I also conduct technical training sessions for them so they can confidently explain the product's benefits and correct usage to farmers.
And how do you handle the farmers themselves? They can be quite skeptical of new products.
To gain the farmers' trust, we set up demonstration plots, or demo plots, right in their villages. We invite local farmers to field days to see the results with their own eyes. Seeing a healthy crop next to an untreated control plot is far more convincing than any brochure. I always enjoy being on the field during these days, answering their direct questions and listening to their feedback.
That's a very practical approach. It shows you really understand our customer base. Sustainability and green agriculture are becoming major trends globally, and also here in Vietnam. How do you see the balance between traditional chemical crop protection and biological solutions in product development?
I think it's no longer an either-or situation. They must coexist. Traditional chemical pesticides are still essential for fast action during severe outbreaks. However, for long-term sustainability and to meet export standards, like strict maximum residue limits or MRELs, biological products are the future. Farmers are increasingly looking for biopesticides that have zero pre-harvest intervals. In my opinion, our job is to develop integrated solutions that combine both chemistry and biology to protect crops safely.
That's very true, especially for export-oriented crops like fruits and rice. How do you gather this kind of feedback from the field to influence your R&D decisions?
I make it a habit to visit key agricultural regions at least once a month. I talk directly to farmers and local distributors to understand their pain points. For example, if farmers in the Mekong Delta are complaining that a specific disease is becoming resistant to current treatments, that's a direct signal for us to develop a new formulation or introduce a new mode of action. Market-driven R&D is much more successful than just working inside a laboratory.
Well, Lynn, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm very pleased with your insights. Do you have any questions for me about the company or the role?
Yes, actually, I do. I know that AgroGreen Solutions has been expanding its portfolio. What is the company's long-term vision regarding biopesticides over the next 5 years, and how does this role fit into that vision?
That's a great question. We are actively aiming to make biologicals 30% of our total portfolio by 2030. The person in this role will be directly responsible for evaluating and registering our new pipeline of botanical extracts and microbial products. So, you would be at the very center of this transition.
That sounds incredibly exciting. It's exactly the kind of meaningful work I want to be a part of.
Wonderful. In terms of next steps, our HR team will get back to you by the end of this week regarding the second round interview, which will involve a short technical presentation. Thank you again for your time today, Lynn.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.
You too. Goodbye.
Goodbye.